Hello and good day, everyone. Thanks for being here for MeteoMark's Weather. I'm meteorologist Mark Molnar, and we're taking a look at the tropics and your severe weather. We have a few tropical waves we're watching out here into the intertropical convergence zone, and over the next several days, those will be traversing and affecting parts of the Caribbean islands. We'll see if any one of these has any chance of development, as we must remain vigilant as we continue through this dangerous hurricane season. And could the remnants of Beryl here later Wednesday be setting off a potential for a severe weather and tornado event here across parts of the Northeast? We'll get into all the details. Let's get into it. So out here into the main development region of the Atlantic, what is going on? Well, this is where all the activity is going to be. We have a couple tropical waves lined up in a row out here by the Cape Verde Islands. Pretty clear here across the Eastern Caribbean, but look at that explosion of shower and thunderstorm activity over the island of Hispaniola. So let's take a look at the GFS behind, Beryl's wake here. Yeah, there isn't a whole lot to talk about, but there actually is. This is still well above average for this time of year, and that's something we must never forget. Look at this. We got some big tropical wave action going on out here between the Lesser Antilles and the Cape Verde Islands here. So please stay tuned. Anytime these could develop, although I'm not expecting, any major explosive development here by any stretch of the imagination. We are still watching this, and we also got a little wave here interacting with an old frontal boundary off the coast of Texas. You see our big old Bermuda high is way out here between Bermuda and the Azores. And as we continue to go out here in time, you can see we have a flare-up of shower and thunderstorm activity down here and through Central America, continuing off the southeast coast, and then towards the Lesser Antilles as we continue towards July 12th here, towards the end of the week, into the weekend. Look what's happening here. Intertropical convergence zone is looking like it's packing more of a punch. We got a big wave coming off the Cape Verde area out here, and look at this. We got some waves just lining up here. A small grouping of showers and thunderstorms moving here through the Lesser Antilles. Looking clear here across the northwestern Caribbean and clear as a bell here in the Gulf. So that's some great news for those of you that are cleaning up after Beryl. So as we continue to go out here in time, exiting the weekend into next week, look what's happening here. Intertropical convergence zone continuing to press westward here. It's still pretty, far south for this time of year. Got this big layer of dust to the north. So that's precluding any development. So yeah, it does look a little quiet, I must say. But look at this. A little flare up down here towards Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama. We'll have to watch that. That looks a little bit like it's bumping up here on the scale, so to speak. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And some of these waves out here, we'll have to continue to watch as we head towards the middle of the month because conditions will likely become more favorable. One thing that doesn't change, and I'll show you this on the European model momentarily too, is this area of high pressure just continues. So whatever is out here is just going to keep pressing westward. And don't forget, everyone, if you made it this far and you liked the video, smash that like button. It really does help. Question or comment down below. I love to read your questions or comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and I'll alert you with all of the videos that come out lately. And that way I'll keep you up to date on all the weather from tropics to severe weather. And as we look across the Caribbean, the Gulf here on the European model, there is our tropical wave action between the Cape Verde here and the Lesser Antilles, and that's just going to continue westward here as we head towards July 10th and into the 11th. You can see moving towards Barbados, Trinidad, Tobago, Grenada here, and then another big tropical wave out here. So we are just going to watch the Atlantic over the next couple weeks here, see any one of these could actually develop. We have a solid Bermuda high just northeast of Bermuda here that's going to keep everything on track heading westward here, pretty much due west. And this intertropical convergence zone is very active for this time of year. So even though everybody say it's going to be crickets, we kind of felt that way at the third week of June, and you know what happened by the fourth week of June. We have some massive tropical waves on their way showing up on the European model here. One across Central America, one across Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. And look at how these storms are just going to line up from the Cape Verde region all the way to the Lesser Antilles here. This is by the 13th, so we're getting past the weekend here. And then look at this. As we continue in time, even a strong one here towards Jamaica come the 14th. So any one of these systems we got to watch very closely. because sea surface temperatures are way above average. And as we continue to go out here with the European model, look what's happening. Not only do we have the intertropical convergence zone just exploding out here with development and east of the Lesser Antilles here, so any one of these is fair game through the 15th here, mid-July. Look at this big tropical wave exiting the Northwest Caribbean, and that heads up towards Florida and eventually the Gulf Coast, where it kind of interacts with the stalled out frontal boundary. Here we have another big tropical wave here towards Nicaragua and Honduras, and we're watching another huge one out here. And look at this, up towards this high pressure system, we are actually watching a series of tropical waves interacting with this stalled old frontal boundary. Look at this. Yeah, we got some big waves that will be exiting the coast of Africa as we head in time. Look at this one. This is right around July 19th. So not only does the Caribbean look much more active up here into the Gulf and just off the East Coast, but look at the Cape Verde region out here. So thanks to Tropical Tidbits for our mid-layer dry air analysis. You can see where the dust is here at mid-layers and upper levels, making its way into the Central Caribbean all across the MDR. But look at the intertropical convergence zone here. It seems a bit unfazed by all this. And as we go through the weekend into early next week, you can see where things are really starting to set up here. The dust looks like it's still a thing here, but the intertropical convergence zone is still just chugging right along as if nothing's wrong here. And with our European model, you can really see the dust here moving towards the Northeast Caribbean. MDR really filling in here as we head through the rest of the week, Friday, Saturday into Sunday. And then all the way through Thursday of next week, you can see the intertropical convergence zone really starts to overcome our big dust plume out here. Although you have to admit, this is a very unusually large area of dry air at mid-layers. So we want to go with the CFS weekly here. What is going on with the trends? Intertropical convergence zone, Northeast Caribbean islands, Central America. Look at here across Eastern North America as we head into next week, and we continue through the rest of the month here. The third and fourth week, you can see things really solidifying here all the way from the intertropical convergence zone to the southeast coast. So as we cross over here into August, the first week of August, that trend continues. A little bit drier here into parts of the Western Gulf and Caribbean. So the models are kind of honing in here that we might be kind of pushing the axis of the heaviest precipitation, all those tropical downpours and tropical waves further to the east, as does happen this time of year through mid-August and here towards the end of August. You see, it's holding tough. If we take a look at the CANCIPS model here, there we go, valid through August. So yeah, look at this. Still, this model's going gangbusters here through the intertropical convergence zone, Caribbean, and into the Gulf of Mexico, showing up open for business. Look at here across the southeast U.S. as well. That's pretty agreeing with our big uptrend here into September, October, November, and still we could be looking at storms here in December. So what's been going on with our sea surface temperatures? The dust has been just really knocking it down out here in the MDR. So yeah, that could, that's temporary. I expect this not to last, more than, say, 3 or 4 more weeks. But yeah, that is some good news. Look at the Gulf, though, warming right back up here. Caribbean, you just dealt with Beryl. Yeah, these areas warming right back up, as well as off the East Coast with that major heat wave. Dropping down here into the rainfall amount, Central America, the Western Caribbean, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, pretty dry here. That's good, as we get through the next several days. It's good for the cleanup effort as well. Nicaragua up to Belize, that's where the lion's share of the rainfall, 100 to 150 millimeters. Upwards of 3.5 to as much as 6 inches of rain. Back here towards Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, another tropical wave, 60 to as much as 90 millimeters, anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5 inches of rain. And heading our way to the Eastern Caribbean here, there's that wave around Puerto Rico. Another wave will be propagating this weekend here, Trinidad, Tobago, all the way up the island chain here. So piling on about 40 to 60 millimeters here, 1.5 to 2 inches. Heavier amounts towards Puerto Rico, where we'll get up to 70 to 90 millimeters. Upwards of 2.5 to 3.5 inches of rain. The Bahamas are kind of the dry spot here. So if we look at our HRRR future radar here, we can get a good idea of where the remnants of Beryl are going and where all the severe weather is likely to be as we head during the overnight hours of Tuesday night and early Wednesday. You see this comma shaped here. This is essentially what's left of Beryl. You can see all these stronger cells, thunderstorms moving up through Indiana and parts of Ohio here. That's going to continue toward the northeast, really getting into the thick of it here into northeastern Ohio as we get towards 3 a.m. on early Wednesday morning. And that kicks out to the northeast towards Buffalo and Rochester, and then targeting parts of southern Ontario and Quebec as well. But look what really starts to blossom here. It's on there. Here's the low pressure. It's on the east side of this low here, where we're going to really start to get some development that I'm a little concerned about here. Potential tornadic type development here. Erie, Binghamton, Buffalo, Syracuse, Williamsport, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area, but eventually Albany here. Some of these cells could really go rotation here. And then as we kick it towards the rush hour here, that's real concern around the I-81 corridor area. Look at this. This is going to be a very bad severe weather day here. Would not be surprised if we increase this to enhance, but look at this. This starts to conglomerate into a squall line by 8 p.m. Here's 9 p.m. So this is the northeast corridor in the mid-Atlantic here. I-81 eastward here up to parts of south central New England here. Really concerning with this severe weather potential morphing into a nocturnal squall line. Thankfully, it does lose some of its punch as it heads into this high pressure early Thursday morning here, so right around July 11th. So this is some good news. It will finally start to fizzle. Still some stronger thunderstorms over towards Maine, though. But there it is. It looks like the lion's share of the severe weather stays across upstate New York into Pennsylvania. The rest of the nation, what are we looking at here? Well, we have this feature across the Gulf Coast that's going to keep some really nice beneficial showers and thunderstorms that pop up every day. And you can see this feature we have in the Bahamas and parts of Florida. This is a little tropical wave just hanging out here with the tail end of an old frontal boundary. So if we look at the SIGTOR parameter, gives us a really good idea of which areas have the best chance for rotating thunderstorms. And if we get towards noon here on Wednesday, July 10th, I am becoming increasingly concerned, although this does not look like, tremendous SIGTOR parameters. Let's just go right back there. However, in this area, look at this. We could see 0.9, some of these green areas upwards of 1.7, 1.8, closer to 2.0. What I'm getting at here is this area, this is pretty high on the SIGTOR scale. For New York and Pennsylvania. So it wouldn't take much to get some of these storms to rotate. And then as we continue throughout the rush hour through 9 p.m. and then into midnight tomorrow night, it looks like at this point, the best chance of tornadic activity here is the Twin Tiers of New York and Pennsylvania through the Finger Lakes, Susquehanna River Valley. So please keep an eye to the sky. Watches or warnings. Would not be surprised if a tornado watch is issued Wednesday afternoon and evening. And if we take a look at Cape here, this is the amount of a convective available potential energy. Yeah, this is lining up with like 2,000 to 2,800 joules per kilogram. Into New York State, into these yellows, and the oranges closer to 3,000. So that is concerning. Definitely have enough instability here to get things cranking. And Joe Dre, host from the Johnson City, New York area. Last week, some massively, very bad lightning that was propagating across the area. Nature having its own fireworks. Look at this. This is some nice captures here, Joe. Joe Dre, host from Johnson City, New York area. Nice lightning. And Joe Dre, host here from New York City. 4th of July fireworks. You don't get to see this off very often. And look at this right up there with the firework heights. That is a nice perspective on the fireworks here, New York City. 4th of July. Nice captures there, Joe. So picking up where our HRRR feature radar left off, there's the Remnants of Beryl on its way out. But look what's forming here. An old frontal boundary combined with a tropical wave here on the west end of this big old Bermuda high. Essentially what we're going to be looking at is prolonged shower and thunderstorm activity here across North Carolina and parts of Virginia and South Carolina here. And this is just going to continue through the 14th into next week. And then as we carry over into the 15th here, it does start to show progress on exiting the coastline here. Now, our next system diving across the Great Lakes into the northeast, it's going to bring some shower and thunderstorm activity with it here around July 16. So you can see this kind of just filling in. So that'll be our next storm system. And then as we continue towards the 17th into the 18th, you can see this just kind of conglomerates with a lot of tropical moisture here across Georgia and the Carolinas. This is a big thing we're going to have to continue to watch. Unfortunately, out west, you're just going to remain hot and dry with that massive heat dome. And then look at this across parts of the southeast, the 18th into the 19th. We're watching not only tropical moisture surging its way across the Gulf here, we still have that stalled frontal boundary interacting with tropical waves, but we also have a potential for a severe weather outbreak here into parts of the plains. Rainfall amounts here, if we take a look at our European model, it's going to be from the Mississippi River Valley northeastward here up to Michigan and Indiana. You can see into southeast Canada, northern New York, so that's where the remnants of Beryl are going to conglomerate. Even places like Toledo, Cleveland, Buffalo, these areas. Northern New York here. Yeah, would not be surprised. 1.5 inches all the way up to 3.5 inches, and in those yellow shaded, 4 to 6 inch potential here. Now, there's another bullseye here just off the coast into North Carolina with a tropical moisture and a surge, and that's going to continue even into next week. So definitely got to watch out here for heavy rain, 4 to as much as 7 inches. Then here across the Gulf Coast, you're getting some of these pop-up shower and thunderstorm activity here with the tropics, so watch out anywhere from about 1 inch or 2 likely. All right, let's kick our way up to Canada here. What is going on, Canada? Well, we're going to have the remnants of Beryl. Thankfully, it looks like the worst of it's going to be over the United States border southward. You're just going to get a lot of heavy rain here into southern Ontario and Quebec as we move over the next couple days. That moves out the 11th into the 12th. You really start to see a pattern here that's very reminiscent of summer here into Canada, which is great news because we only have a few small light systems here. As you can see, not any one of these packing any much of a punch. And out west here in British Columbia, Alberta, we're just going to start to bake with the American West out here from the United States. So that's just going to continue. We do get a little unsettled towards the middle of the month, 16th into the 17th here across Quebec as we get an upper level low kind of kicking across here and developing. But look at that high pressure building in come the 19th into the 20th. So we do start to break down the ridge out here towards British Columbia and get some cooler temperatures with some precipitation. So for Canada here, most of it's going to be with the remnants of Beryl, southern Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, these areas. We're really going to fill it in here with up to 80 to 120 millimeters of rainfall, 3 to 4.5 inches, close to 5 inches in some areas. Pretty dry out west here, though. So for the Western Pacific, I don't really have a whole lot to talk about here. There is a couple features actually that bear watching, but I'm not really overly enthused or impressed about them. Here across the southern Philippines and then the South China Sea, we have a couple of tropical waves here that seem pretty formidable. Up by Japan and Shanghai and South Korea, we've got that big monsoon just continuing. But it's this time of year, we're just going to watch the intertropical convergence zone. Right now, it just looks nothing more than your garden variety intertropical convergence zone monsoon. But look at this, by the 15th into the 16th, what do we got here? We might have ourselves a tropical storm. So we'll have to keep an eye on it here. European model, grabbing a hold of it. So this isn't like the GFS grabbing a hold of a phantom storm here. So nevertheless, by the 18th, this starts to push towards South China and eventually Vietnam. So this is something we'll have to keep a very close watch on because we are well overdue for a tropical system out here. I got plenty more weather for you in just a moment, but take a look at my affiliate. Do you want some awesome maps? Check this out. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. And then if we take a look at temperatures here, heat is going to be the big story everywhere. Not just the east here. Look at the mid-Atlantic. Wednesday, one more day of heat advisories. Just downright miserable heat index values near 100 or more. Look at out west, though. Triple-digit heat up to Washington State. That even makes Texas's heat pale in comparison here. Still upper 90s. As well as we head into Thursday, you can see that heat's going to start surging to the east here. So all of this air here across the Great Lakes in the Northeast, upper 70s, lower 80s behind that front, that's going to be a welcome sight because this is going to be the only comfortable area. Look at these triple-digit and upper 90 heat just building across the nation here. And then as we continue towards Saturday here, if we can get that to load, thank you. And look at that. Yeah, across the Great Lakes in the Northeast, we're even starting to warm it up into the mid to high 80s, near 90 in many of these locations from Cleveland. And the I-80 corridor on southward here as well. So this, I hate to say it, but we're just going to boil here. And look at this triple-digit heat just building across the Central Plains. Even here across the Mid-Atlantic, we're just going to watch this continue to play out into your, if we could get this to actually load. There we go. Monday, look at that, July 15th. Yeah. We're just, name one state that's below 90. Maybe North Dakota? Extended forecast from our hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna, River Valley of New York and Pennsylvania. As we cruise on through the rest of the week, Wednesday we'll have that chance of showers and thunderstorms likely. Damaging wind, large hail, and potential tornado development is a real problem, as well as the heat, mid to upper 90s for those heat index values over 100. So that's going to continue into Wednesday night. Thursday will clear out, thankfully. Cooler temperatures are ahead into the 80s, and then we start to warm it up near 90 by the weekend. As always, thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Also, don't forget to join me on Facebook at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget it's MeteoMark.com, and don't forget, if you want to send me a coffee, there is a link, Super Thanks. You can smash that Super Thanks button or my PayPal link in the description down below. You can buy me a cup of coffee. Thanks, everyone. Share that video. Subscribe if you haven't. Smash that like button.